Happy Saturday. Good morning. We're doing things a little different today because I'll be real with y'all. It's been a lot. This job been kicking my ass in a good way. I'm having fun. I love my kids. They are like the most amazing little humans ever. But they also kind of sort of drive me to drink. They're a lot, but they're like the sweetest little people that I have ever met. And so I figured today I would do things a little bit differently. I'm getting over being sick. I was super duper sick last week. Who's surprised? Nobody. So I'm kind of just trying to like take life easy. We still gonna do book and breakfast, but I figured we do like a little vlog style today. I'm more of in a just pull shit out of the cupboard and make something shake. That's the mood that I have today. So we're gonna make something yummy. And we're gonna do a little bit of a reading vlog because I have tons of books that I need to work on. I have a puppy down here that is over here getting in the way. Do not start barking, get down. Thank you. So this is the immediate stack that needs to be worked on currently. I have a lot going on. I've been in a reading slump. There's some drama that's been going down that unfortunately affected a lot of the content that was supposed to go up this week. And I really don't want to talk about it because I'm kind of over it. But, you know, people be peopling, and unfortunately sometimes the people that you love disappoint you. So that was also very frustrating. So I have these to work on. I also have an arc that I think was from Berkeley Publishing that they sent me that I need to work on. It's an e-arc. And I also have Act Your Age, Eve Brown, that I'm currently working on, and I want to start their Vicious Games on audio because I have to turn that in a few days. We're gonna read and see how many of these I can finish. We're going to cook some bomb-ass food. And we're gonna close out this video with a few books that I want to try to speed through by the end of the month. So if you're interested in this super casual reading vlog style book and breakfast, then just keep on watching. We have like new lights in here and they're absolutely awful. They look like the lights on like a tarmac. So I'm feeling like eggs, but I don't just want regular eggs. I think I want to do some baked eggs and like a tomato sauce with some pesto and lots of cheese. And I kind of want some potatoes. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, y'all, let's do some baked eggs, or as some people like to call them, eggs in Purgatory. I do many different versions of this, and I love doing this simply because I can just pull a bunch of stuff out and just cook. So we're gonna start with our water. I'm gonna go ahead and put some water on to boil, and I'm just adding some hefty salt to that so I don't have to do too much seasoning to my potatoes. And then for the potatoes, these russets that we have are just like super starchy. They just don't cook to my liking. That's why I'm boiling it first. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this, and then I'm going to cut this into like 1/4 inch thick slices, and then I'm going to cube these up, and you just want to cube them into like little bite-sized pieces. The smaller the pieces are, the quicker they'll cook, and I'm not trying to be here all day for some potatoes. So that's what we're doing. And then once I chop these up, we're gonna go ahead and take those grape tomatoes that you see in the background, and I'm also going to cut those into halves and reserve for our egg dish. And while we do that, let's talk about some upcoming releases. We have new books getting ready to come out in October, and I'm so excited. Some books that I've been waiting on for a hot minute. First things first, we have King of Greed by Wong. This is the 3rd book in the Kings of Sin series, and I am so excited. I'm so ready. You guys know I just recently finished King of Pride, and I loved Kai and Isabella. Kai was a super softie, but this also introduced us to the foundation for Dominic and Alessandra's relationship, and this is going to be second chance romance. This is going to be the first second chance romance I've read from Wong. Usually we don't get those, This is going to be so good. Dominic is a pretty big mogul, and he is basically stuck in his work life. And although he and Alessandra had the perfect relationship when they first got married, their romance has kind of fizzled out. And Alessandra gets sick of it, and she decides to start doing her own thing. And Dominic realizes that if he wants to keep his woman, he is going to have to woo her and convince her to stay. So I'm really, really excited. I just know this is going to be good. I believe this comes out on the 25th of October. And then we also have Unrealistic Expectations coming out in, I believe, 3 days. This is an arc that I'm currently working on that I was sent by the publisher, so thank you very much. And I'm enjoying it. I'll talk about it more in this reading vlog. But it is centered around a marriage and family counselor who ends up going on a fake dating situation after a really horrible breakup. So far, it's really good. Interracial romance. I'm enjoying it. Of course, we got to clean as we go, and then I'm going to go ahead and take 2 layers of aluminum foil to put down. I've gone and drained our potatoes, and we're just going to add that to the aluminum foil, and we're going to do some seasoning. We got to add some olive oil because that's going to help crisp things up. Now, I'm not expecting to get these potatoes too crispy because, like I said, these potatoes were just not it. Like, I don't know what was going on with these, but they were not it. But I do want them to be really nice and tender and just a little crispy on the edges. For seasoning, I'm going to add onion powder, garlic powder, some Italian seasoning, and I was looking for my rosemary and I couldn't find any. I guess we used it all. So I just decided to add some thyme instead, but rosemary is better in my opinion. And then I'm going to add some pepper and just a teensy tiny bit of salt because we salted the water. You don't really need to add too much salt to this. We're going to make sure all of that is mixed up and incorporated. And then we are going to throw that into the air fryer. I put mine on air roast, and I went ahead and set that for about 15 to 20 minutes. And I'm going to let that cook while we put together our eggs in Purgatory. Alright, I found these cute little ramekins. I guess they're just old dishes that my mom has. So I pulled those out. Tomato sauce is going to be the base for this. So I'm going to add like 5 to 7 tablespoons of sauce. Just add how much you want, however saucy you want it to be is how much you should add. And then we're going to add our seasonings. I'm doing a palmful of Italian seasoning, and then the other seasonings that we also put on the potatoes: onion powder, garlic powder. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and I'm also going to grate some fresh garlic into this because I really want that yummy garlicky flavor. And I wanted to amp up the herbaceousness of this since I didn't have any fresh herbs at my ready. So I'm also going to go ahead and add in some pesto. You can use any pesto you like. This one that I'm using today is actually from Trader Joe's. It's my first time using this one. We usually use a different brand, but this one from Trader Joe's was really, really good. And also make sure you taste the sauce as you go, just to make sure that it's kind of heading in the direction that you want. And then once all of my flavorings are mixed together, I'm going to add my eggs. You're just going to dump those in one at a time. And I like to make sure that there's a little bit of space and kind of like a well for the eggs to sit on so that they don't like puff up too much in the cooking process and overflow. I'm going to go ahead and add in those grape tomatoes. And then I'm going to take little chunks of provolone cheese and add those in as well. This looks crazy before you bake it, but I promise it is so good. And the sauce was really well seasoned, so I didn't feel like I needed to go back and add any seasonings on top. Sometimes I will, but for this, I didn't feel like I needed to. And then I'm going to go ahead, pause the air fryer, and then I'm going to add this back in for another 15 to 20 minutes. It just depends on how you want your eggs. If you want a runny yolk, cook it for about 15 to 20. If you want it to be a little bit more set, then I would do about 25 minutes to 30 minutes. And then we're going to plate everything up. Those are the potatoes. The very edges are really nice and crisp, and that's about as good as I was going to get these potatoes. And everything is just really bubbling and yummy. You see how good that looks? Like, it looks crazy before you put it in, but it makes sense when you take it out. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of garnish to this. I'm going to add some pesto on top. And then I'm also just going to sprinkle on a little bit of extra cheese. This is an Italian blend. I think it has like Parmesan, Pecorino Romano, and there's something else in there too. Can't remember what it is, but it was really delicious and everything just melted on top perfectly. Y'all, this was so good. This is like one of my favorite dishes to do when I want something kind of rich and hearty, I want eggs, but I don't want to do like a fried egg or scrambled eggs. This is so good. It was the perfect bite. The sauce came out perfectly. The eggs, I actually cooked them so they were a little runny this time because it worked so well with this dish. And it just makes like the perfect, like really silky sauce. The rest of the egg is really nice and just like soft and unctuous. The cheese on top is a little crusty, and the cheese on the inside of it is just like, that's just the perfect like creamy bite. It was so good, and having those grape tomatoes in there too just added like a really yummy bright sweetness to it as well. The potatoes were bomb, and they were also like the perfect bite to add to this. Look at that egg, y'all. Y'all know I don't do runny yolks often, but this was so good. For the last of our new releases, we do have Between Love and Loathing by Shain, which is the second book following Between Commitment and Betrayal, and I'm so hyped for that. We also have Madam by Sara, Cate, which is finally Eden's book, Madam Kink. That's going to be coming out, I believe, on October 11th. We also have A Dish Best Served Hot by Natalie Kanya, book 2 in the Vega family series, and shout out to my boo Jaylee Fields for her new book Hunted, coming out in October as well. Okay, first one down. Y'all gotta read this. Look, just hear me out. Drive Me Up by R.M. Virtues, I think, has my favorite Hades ever. And y'all know I am a whore for a Hades and Persephone retelling. And this was so good. Okay, first of all, we have a black Hades and Persephone. Not only do we have a black Hades, but we have a trans Persephone. This is a much more modernized version. We don't have any magic in this. This is all a political system. So if you're like a fan of Katie Roberts' Dark Olympus series, I think you will really enjoy this one. In this, our Persephone is an aerialist. She is a dancer, and she is currently working under Dionysus for a cirque show that he is hosting at his uncle's club Elysium, and his uncle is Hades. The minute that Hades sees the gorgeous Persephone on stage doing her thing, he is enthralled. Persephone has been through a lot. Her mother, Demeter, is definitely an iron fist type. She's recently out of a relationship that turned pretty toxic with Adonis, and she's just doing her thing and really trying to focus on living her dream. When she meets Hades, she falls, and she falls hard, and so does Hades. What I love about this version of Hades is that although he is that typical kind of mythical persona where, you know, he is very much respected, but more so feared, and he is very much the enforcer in his world, he is so just ooey gooey soft. Like, the way he is just so adorable and bashful with Persephone is like, oh, I ate it up. Like, he was so damn precious. Like, you just have this huge, big burly black man that is just a total marshmallow for his lady. And I loved it. There's a lot of political intrigue. There's a lot of, I would say this is more like political, but also like family rivalry, because we have Zeus, who will not leave my girl Persephone alone. And his time is up in Olympus. I live for this. This was so good. The amount of intrigue, the family rivalries, the just pure, genuine affection that Hades and Persephone have for each other, and the spice. Filthy. This was amazing. Yeah, I love this. One of my favorite reads this month. Happy that I picked this up. I already have book 2, and I'm going to start that soon, but I have so many other things I need to finish, especially since some of it is arc reading. So I'm going to take me a little breaky break, and then I'm going to try to work on Anna Maria and the Fox. That book, the writing, great. The individual stories of those characters, great. But as far as it being a historical romance, it might as well just be considered historical fiction, because I am like 75% through and there has not been any romance. I don't like that. So I've been kind of in my feelings with it, because while, like I said, the individual stories of the characters are great, and I find them intriguing on their own, there's no chemistry between the FMC and the MMC, and there's no romance at all. I guess they're gonna be loving, touching, rubbing, fucking at the very end of the book, and that's not what I signed up for. So I'll be back. Okay, so I read like 3 more chapters of this and I want to throw hands. It's good, but there's hardly any, like, they just kissed, y'all. And I'm on page 223. 223 pages. And we've gotten one pretty chaste kiss. Yeah, y'all, I look so tired. The congestion is still like kicking my ass. Okay, don't judge me. But yeah, a single kiss. Now listen, I am not somebody who absolutely has to have spice in their books, right? Like, that is not a requirement for me. You guys know I love my non-spicy reads just as much as I love my spicy reads. But like we've gotten like a whole lot of not much when it comes to the couple. Like, there's a lot going on with the sisters. There's a lot going on with Gideon, but there's not a lot going on with the couple. Anna Maria and the Fox. Victorian historical romance. Our main character is Anna Maria. She is the eldest of the Luna sisters. I'm assuming this is going to be a whole series because the other 2 sisters are hilarious. These are 3 young women who have been sent to London for refuge, because this is happening during the time period where the Mexican presidency is being thwarted by the French government. Things are getting pretty heavy. Their father is a nobleman and one of the right hands to the current ousted presidency. And so he sends his daughters to London with family in order for them to live kind of undercover. Their uncle sees this as an opportunity to help kind of bolster the cause for the Mexican government within the English territories, okay? That is Anna Maria's story. She is currently engaged, not of her own choosing. But basically in English, she's free. She's kind of free to do what she wants. They basically told the girls, do what you want, okay? So in walks Gideon Fox. Okay, he is a gorgeous brown man. He's also the only Black member of Parliament at this current juncture. So he has a lot on his shoulders. He basically has the whole world on his shoulders. And he is trying to implement policies that are going to undermine the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so we have Anna Maria, who is in London, and she is basically getting her first taste of freedom. And of course, with her first taste of freedom means that there are a lot of things that, although she is the eldest and she has been in charge of her sisters, there are a lot of things that she doesn't understand. And she tends to end up in some pretty compromising positions. And of course, because of her race and her ethnicity, and just her general happiness, she got a whole lot of haters. They be hating on her. The issue that I take with Gideon is that I feel like for a good majority of this book, he judges her. And I understand that there is a certain level of face that he has to keep in order for him to achieve his overarching goals. I understand this. But it's not just what he is putting out to the world. It's his own internal dialogue where I am like, sir, who are you to be judging my girl? Okay? Because you know that not everything is what it seems. And so for a good part of this book, I found Gideon, although I really enjoy his morals and his ethics, and I find him to be very interesting, I also just was not 100% here for him as a love interest. And so I'm over 200 pages into a book that I think is like just hitting like 300 pages. Yeah, a little over 300 pages. I have about like 90 pages left in this book. And we're just now getting to the point where he is like admitting that he cares for her, but also basically straight up saying like, but what I'm doing is way more important than how I feel about you. Like, that's the gist of it. And while I can respect it, I need my male main characters to be down bad. Like, if we're gonna have a romance, I need him to be down bad. I need her to be in his every single thought. Every single fold in that man's brain should be screaming Anna Maria. It should not have taken all of this time for him to give her the benefit of the doubt. Like, I'm not feeling it when it comes to the love. I love the story between the three sisters because as they have been raised with their father, who generally doesn't seem like that great of a person, and for real, their mama don't seem like that great of a person either, they have really been pit against each other, right? Especially considering that they are not all of the same skin tone, and so there's a lot of colorism that has been at play within their relationship as sisters. And I have really enjoyed reading about the sisters' journey. And for me, I'm way more invested in what these young women are going through as young women fleeing their country and taking up roots elsewhere and reconnecting as sisters without the heavy weight that's put on them by society and their father's expectations. I'm way more invested in that than I am with the actual story of Anna Maria and Gideon. Like, that to me falls flat in comparison to the beautiful dynamics that we see between these three sisters. Real talk. So is it a good book? Yes. But if you're strictly reading this because you want romance, I think you might be kind of disappointed because it just is not there. So is it good? Yes, but not good in the way that I wanted it to be good. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to read a couple more chapters in this, and then I'm going to work on my e-arcs. I read on my phone. I think I'm going to get a Kindle for my birthday, but obviously I can't vlog and read my arcs at the same time. So I am halfway through Break My Rules by Roxy Sloan. That is the second book in the Oxford trilogy, which is so good. I read and reviewed Cross My Heart, the first book, which is amazing. It is a dark academia spicy romance between a young Oxford student and her teacher. But the twist is that our FNC is actually at Oxford undercover because she is investigating the death of her sister. And this spicy teacher is at the root of it. Y'all, it is so good and way spicier than I expected, okay? It's so good. It's so good. So I'm 50% through that. Definitely want to work on that. I might finish it tonight because it is so good. And then I also have another arc, which I cannot remember the name right now. I'll put a picture of it right here, but I want to get deep into that because that arc is due on the 26th. So that's what we gonna do. And I'll be back to talk about those when I give you guys my last few books that I want to finish in August. Okay, y'all, so this is technically the next day. I just got back from work. But I hope you guys enjoyed just the whole cooking, vlogging style type of situation. Y'all will have to let me know in the comments. I figured it would be a nice way to incorporate something different with something familiar, you know? Yeah, all that. So before we head out, I do want to talk about a few of the books that I want to try and finish by the end of the month. Do I think that I'll get all of these read? No. But I'm gonna try. And at least if I don't finish them, I do want to at least start them and be on my way through them. One of them I don't have in front of me, and that is Taste Like Sugar by Nisha Sharma. I believe I put that on my TBR for the month. And it is currently in my work bag because I have started it. And I am really excited about that one. Y'all know I love that series. Dating Dr. Dill was one of my favorite rom-coms, like, in general, and I love me some Nisha Sharma, so I already know it's going to be great. I've heard amazing things about it, and I did really, really well with my overall reading journey. I got about 35% through my arc. I also am almost finished with Break My Rules, which is book 2 in the Oxford trilogy from Roxy Sloan. So good, and I am going to try to finish that trilogy out by the end of next week so I can post a review over on TikTok. If you're not following me on TikTok, go check that out. I have a lot of things that I need to catch up on because I missed out on a lot of reviewing while I was sick. So go check that out if you have not already. I will be trying to finish that as well. I didn't pick up the Battle Drum, but I'd already been like a good ways through that, but I do want to go ahead and work on that tonight because it's due back at the library in a couple days, and I'm pretty sure I don't have a hold on it anymore. And I did finish Anna Maria and the Fox. Overall it was like 3.75 stars. The writing was great, but I think the marketing just kind of failed because there was so little romance in the book. We didn't get romance until like the very last 20% of the book. And it wasn't even like a lot of romance. Everything was so spur of the moment because the actual marriage of convenience didn't even come into play until the very, very end of the book. So great writing. I really enjoyed the Luna sisters in general, and I think the Luna sisters themselves were truly the star of the show, not the relationship between Anna Maria and Gideon. So 3.75 stars. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't what it was sold as. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about the rest of these books that I do want to finish. Finishing 2 books in a reading vlog, I think is pretty damn good. First things first, I have been trying to read some of my recs for Latinx Heritage Month. I am pretty behind since a lot of the books that I planned on reading were things that I planned on reading last week, and I was really sick. I didn't get through a lot, and that's okay. First things first, right behind me, A Lot Like Adios by Alexis Daria. I have been itching to read this book. Now, I have this, and I think it's called You Had Me at Hola. I have had both of these for a while. I read a novella from her. I believe it's called What the Hex. I listened to it on Audible, and I enjoyed it so much that I went and picked up 2 more of Alexis Daria's books. So I wanted to read these for Latina Heritage Month. And so I'm going to be working on this. I think I'm going to try to start this tonight. Because I've been really excited to get into this. And I also plan on working on, Until I Get You by Claire Contreras. I've heard a lot about her book. She writes dark romance. And the first book in this series, I believe, is a dark hockey romance. And when I saw that, I knew I needed it. So I will be starting that over the next week too. I have it on Libby right now, and if I enjoy that book, then I plan on purchasing that and the rest of the books in the series. All right, moving on to the rest of the books that I have in front of me. Books that I think were all on my TBR for the month, and then I have one that's not on my TBR, but one of my bookish friends reminded me that I need to go ahead and pick this one up too. First things first, Wishful Thinking. Y'all know it's spooky season, okay? And this is the perfect one to get into it. We have Black characters, we have magical realism. This is by Celestine Martin. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this, and I think book 2 is getting ready to come out. So I did want to at least start reading a few chapters in this. Excited to get to it. And then one of my bookish friends over on TikTok, Kim, Mama Book Talk, she was talking about this the other night. We were on live together. And I was telling her that I just got book 2 in this series. And that is American Royalty by Tracy Livesey. I picked this up a while ago and just haven't gotten to reading it. I think I hauled this. I can't remember. I haven't posted that haul yet. I have so much content that is filmed and just not edited. Who is surprised? Nobody. But I've had this for a minute and I need to get to it. This is giving Harry and Meghan, but instead of Meghan Markle, it's Megan Thee Stallion. We have a prince and a rap princess, okay? And I'm here for it. I'm excited to get into this. So many people love this book, so I have great expectations. And then after hopping off of my Hades and Persephone kick from RM Virtues, I wanted to go ahead and get into this. That's Cruel Seduction, and it is the 5th book, I believe, in the Dark Olympus series. This is Aphrodite, Hephaestus, Pandora, and Adonis. There's a lot going on here. I'm really excited. You guys know I've been excited about this. I love me some Katie Robert. And I can't get over how pretty this cover is. It is just so absolutely stunning. So I will be trying to finish this over the next week. I think out of all of them, this is probably one of the 2 that I will absolutely finish, because I tear through Katie Roberts' books. I always do. And then last but not least, I do want to go ahead and finish this. This is another one that I may go ahead and start tonight because it is smaller. It's only a little over 200 pages, and that is The Assassins. And this is the 3rd book in the Shattered Isle series by Jade Presley. I've spoken about this quite a bit over the last couple of months. This is Why Choose fantasy romance, and it is very much based on like X-Men, Avengers type situations. We have lots of different powers here. We have tons of hot men, our super hot FMCs, very strong FMCs too. This one is not centered around the original characters from the Shattered Isle novels though. If you have read her villains and her revenge, as well as her mates, those feature like the crux of the cast, which is Kari and her mates that were introduced to at the beginning of the book. This is based on Kari's best friend, Jessie, who we meet a little bit in her mates, and we are introduced to more in her revenge. Jessie is Kari's best friend, and she is going to be taking up a greater role within this universe. And a couple of friends of our prior mates and a couple of current friends of Jessie's are going to be her new hookup situation, and I'm so excited for it because I loved every single one of them when we met them in her revenge. So I'm hyped to get into this. Y'all know I'm a White Shoes girly. White Shoes girly. And this is definitely found family. For sure. If you love found family, you will enjoy this. I had filmed a found family video, and after some certain things that have transpired, I'm going to have to refilm it because there's a couple of books that I'm going to have to take out of that video. And it might just be easier to refilm it. I'm going to try to edit around it, but I made such a big deal about those couple of books in that video that it may just be better for me to go ahead and refilm it. You guys let me know what you think. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this. And the cover is just absolutely stunning. I told you guys I picked this up as well as the last book in the series. I don't know if it's the very last book in the series, but the last one that's currently out. So we're gonna try to get through this too. All right, my loves, that is it for this installment of Book and Breakfast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, right now I'm just in a place in my life where I am really like not necessarily winging it, but I'm just taking everything as it comes, going with the flow. And I feel like that's what this video was. That's what a lot of things have had to be lately. And I feel like that's exactly what this video was. I don't have like a hardcore recipe for today's food, but I will list all of the ingredients and how I went about preparing today's dish in the description box below. And of course, all of the books, important links to my story graph, and all of that stuff will be down in the description down below. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have been doing well, and I hope you guys have a lovely Saturday. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.